Imagine the sound of the bat breaking the silence of a night in the Bronx. Every Yankees fan knows that song. The crack of the ball flying, the roar of the crowd erupting in the stands. But sometimes, it's the silence that makes the most noise. In the third inning against the Blue Jays, it was a silence that took over when Clarke Schmidt, who had been carrying the rotation with the courage of someone who wears the pinstripes, asked to come out, some discomfort in his forearm, and suddenly, the entire Yankees rotation seemed to be hanging by a thread. To understand the weight of this, you have to remember who Schmidt is this season. An ERA of 3.32. For wins, for losses. But beyond the numbers, what makes every fan believe is his heart. The kid had just put up 28 and 1/3 innings without allowing a single run. Do you realize what that means? It's the longest scoreless streak by a Yankees pitcher since 1951. 73 years have passed since anyone did the same. That puts his name on a pedestal, right next to the legends who built the Bronx's myth. But baseball doesn't have an easy script. It's a sport that tests your patience, your faith, your true love. After giving up 4 hits and 3 runs in 55 pitches, Schmidt felt he couldn't go on. He was replaced by Clayton Beeter, who had just been called up from AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre, full of hope, carrying the dream of helping. But he struggled too. 3 runs, 3 hits in 2 innings. Soon after, Beeter was sent back down. That's the weight of playing on the biggest stage in the world. And for those who think it's just another injury, look at the situation. Gerrit Cole, our ace, is still out. Luis Gil, one of the most exciting surprises of the year, is also on the injured list. Marcus Stroman, who returned from injury on June 29th, is trying to find his rhythm again. Carlos Rodon and Max Fried are holding on as best they can, but no one carries an entire season alone. Will Warren, who came up full of hype, got shelled by the Blue Jays on Wednesday, an 11-9 loss that hurt more than the scoreboard because it stripped the Yankees of the lead in the American League East. It's in moments like this that we go back in time. Remember 1996, when everything seemed lost until unlikely names stepped up to keep the team alive. Remember 2009, when every bullpen arm felt like it was ready to give out, and still, the decisive wins came? That's what it means to be the Yankees. It's the certainty that as long as the New York cap is on your head, nothing is impossible. In the post-game interview, Schmidt summed it all up in a breath of honesty that only someone who wears this uniform understands. We're in the thick of it right now. In my career as a Yankee, I can imagine this happening almost every year, and it feels like it's around June and July that we kind of push a little bit. We're going through that. It's not just a quote. It's almost a reminder that the baseball season is long, cruel, but full of rebirths. Now take a breath, because this is where the fan comes in. If you're Bronx to the end, if every tight inning makes your heart beat faster, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel and show everyone that the Yankees nation doesn't crumble when things get tough. We get stronger. Tomorrow there's an MRI. The image will tell us if Schmidt will be back soon, if he'll be out for a while, or if the rotation will have to reinvent itself again. Is it little? No, it's everything. Because every game now is worth more than just a single win. It's worth holding the lead. It's worth making sure a rough stretch doesn't become a nightmare. It's worth keeping the October flame alive. Meanwhile, Marcus Stroman is searching for his rhythm after the injury. Rodon and Fried are trying to avoid burnout, and the ghosts of Will Warren's bad innings can't repeat themselves. The bullpen knows it's going to be tested more than ever. Every pitch will weigh as if it's the World Series final. And even so, deep down, we know that's how the Yankees work. When the rest of the league bets against them, the Bronx finds a way to make history. And now, I want to hear from you. What goes through your mind when you see Clarke Schmidt leaving the mound with pain in his arm? Can we trust what we have? What's your bet? Does he come back soon? Or will this team have to pull off a collective miracle? Drop it in the comments. Your opinion is part of this nation that never stays silent. Imagine this scene. Yankee Stadium lit up on a July night, full of ghosts and promises. The rotation weakened. Clarke Schmidt leaving the mound with his forearm screaming. Gerrit Cole still out. Luis Gil on the injured list. Everything seems to conspire to take the breath out of Yankees Nation. But anyone who wears the pinstripes knows that when the mound shakes, the lineup has to respond. And that's where this name comes in, Eugenio Suarez. You don't always get what you want. It's almost a mantra etched into the soul of anyone who roots for the Bronx. Baseball doesn't forgive easy plans. The July 31st deadline is a game of Russian roulette. Every phone call from Brian Cashman can turn into history or disappointment. The problem is the window is short and time is merciless. And when the right rumor pops up, you feel it. Suarez isn't just any third baseman. He's pure power. 26 home runs, 69 RBIs. Numbers that don't lie. They put him right up there with the best in the league. He's the type of player who walks into a clubhouse and changes the mood. One home run from him can erase a bad night on the mound. A clutch hit can save an entire series. That's what Cashman sees. A way to balance what Schmidt's arm can hold. But reality is harsh. The words came from Ken Rosenthal from The Athletic. Suarez doesn't want to leave. He's honest. I don't want to leave Arizona, he said. For him, every win in the desert rekindles the hope of October. Each loss, on the other hand, plants doubt. And baseball, loves to test the minds of the men who play it. Suarez doesn't get the final say. Mike Hazen, the D-backs GM, does. And Hazen, according to Rosenthal, would rather buy than sell. It's the worst-case scenario for Yankees fans, seeing a perfect target locked away in a vault that won't open easily. Look at Arizona's numbers. 43-43. Fourth place in the NL West, 11 and a half games behind the Dodgers. It seems far, but in the wild card race it's a different story. Just 3 games back. As long as that gap exists, Hazen won't dismantle the team. And now Jim Bowden, also from The Athletic, has added fuel to the fire. A trade with the Yankees or even a meeting with the Mariners would make sense. It's baseball reminding you that anything can happen, but also that almost nothing is guaranteed. And it's not just money. Suarez is making $15 million this season, according to Spotrac. For the Yankees, that's not a problem. But the question is it worth the price and prospects? Is it worth tweaking a system that's already being squeezed to plug holes in the rotation? Because while Cashman dreams of a strong bat at third base, the rotation is still on life support. Gerrit Cole, Luis Gil, Schmidt heading for an MRI. Every update on those arms shakes everything. Rodon and Fried are holding on. Stroman is trying to find his rhythm after coming off the injured list on June 29th. Will Warren is still licking his wounds after being rocked by the Blue Jays. The bullpen is being pushed to its limit. It's an emotional roller coaster that keeps every Yankees fan up at night. And then, in the middle of this storm, comes a reminder, how many times has it been like this? Think about 1996, 2000, 2009. How many battered rosters found the strength to lift the trophy? Because the Yankees are the certainty that as long as there's a spark, there's always a chance for a comeback. The problem is the deadline doesn't wait. And Cashman knows this decision isn't just about stats. It's about keeping the October dream alive, no matter the cost. And Suarez, on the other side, speaks like someone who knows this. If I could choose a place to go, I'd stay here, he said, honest, transparent. You can almost hear Yankees fans grumbling. Then why not put on the pinstripes and try to win here on the biggest stage in baseball? But baseball isn't poetry. It's business. And Arizona has its own books to balance. As long as they're flirted with the wild card, they won't give up on a guy who can still carry the lineup on his back. And meanwhile, every game matters. With every inning, the rotation is tested. Every missing hit is felt by the lineup. The Bronx watches like a prayer. Because being a Yankee is that having the best fans, the biggest pressure, and the biggest stage. It's dreaming of Suarez at third base, but also knowing that maybe this trade will never happen. And even so, believing the season can be saved in another way. Because in the Bronx, miracles happen. Now I want to hear from you. So fan, if you were Brian Cashman, would you push until the last second to try to bring in Suarez? Even if he wants to stay in the desert? Is it worth paying the price in an ever tighter market? Or is it time to trust that Schmidt will recover, that Gerrit Cole will be back soon, that Rodon, Stroman, and Fry can hold the line? Leave your opinion here in the comments. I read everything, because the voice of the Bronx echoes far and wide. And if you haven't joined this family yet, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and turn on notifications. Here you'll live every rumor, every behind-the-scenes detail, every trade suspense up until final second of the deadline. That's what makes the Yankees a nation. Pride, history, the Bronx, and one certainty. There's still plenty of baseball to fly over the fence. Go Yankees! And until the next update.